Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, dear students. So here is the part 3 of the chapter Mrs. Addis. So in this we will be completing the brainstorming activities which we haven't done in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture we have completed the explanation part, right? So here are the activities that we are going to do. So the very first activity that we have is discuss with your partner and describe the atmosphere in the woods when Peter Crouch was heading towards Mrs. Addis' house. It was a dark moonless night. So now basically what the question exactly is, like when the Peter Crouch was heading towards Mrs. Addis' house, so what was the environs, what was the atmosphere? That's what it's asking over here. So the first point is already given, that is a dark moonless night, as it's already described in the chapter, right? So in that way only we have to find the other things also which describes the atmosphere of that night. So the other things that we can describe is there was only a few pricks of fire, stars in the sky. The night was still, windless and clear, as a result of which every sound was distinct and intensified. Then comes the bark of a dog all the way at Delmonte could be clearly heard in the woods. As Peter walked on the road, he could hear the echo of his own footsteps, sounding like a death knell. The roadside, being a mess of thorns, cracked and rustled as loud as the thud of the men's feet. So that's what the environs and the atmosphere is basically discussed in the chapter. The another one is discuss with your partner and describe the atmosphere when the Peter Crouch did not knock before entering Mrs. Addis' house. The reason was, now basically when he was going towards the Mrs. Addis' house, and then he did not knock on the door and he directly entered inside the house, as we discussed in the chapter, right? So what was the reason of doing that? Why he did not knock on the door when he came inside the house? So Peter Crouch did not knock before entering Addis' house because he was in trouble and did not want anyone to hear or know that he was there. He was in a state of panic as his hands were shaking a little. He had committed the crime of shooting a man. So this is what the reason he did not knock on the door and directly entered inside. Go through the text again and find the reasons that forced Peter to shoot down a person. So now what it's asking over here, that we have to write about the reason why did he shoot the person. So the keepers spotted him. The first reason is already given, that is the keepers spotted him. Now two other options we have to find. So here is the answer. He was outnumbered 4-1. It was too dark and seeing all those people had scared Peter. So that's what the reason why he shot down a person. Discuss with your partner and describe the atmosphere in the woods when Mrs. Addis did not hand over Peter Crouch to the keepers, because now it's asking the reason why the Mrs. Addis did not hand over Peter Crouch to the keepers. Why she did that way? That's what it's asking over here. So here is the answer. She had forgiven him for unknowingly killing her son. She knew that Peter would have never harmed her son otherwise. She knew that punishing Peter would not bring her son back, but at least by not handing him over to the keepers, she would be giving him a chance to lead life the right way. Sorry. Mrs. Addis must have thought that her son would have wanted Peter to have a second chance, so in a way she fulfilled her son's wish. Then after that there is another question. The writer has used the phrase thudding heart, which means pounding or beating of a heart. Do you know thud is an onomatopoeic word which means a heavy sound made by an object falling to the ground. Discuss with your partner and make a list of onomatopoeic words that you find in the text. So basically here it's about the thudding heart. So that word also means, like, something, any object which falls on the ground, and that the sound that made, that's called as a thudding sound. Okay, so basically it's an onomatopoeic word, right? So we have to find similar words from the chapter. So here is the table given in front of you. As you can see, page number, onomatopoeic word, and then the another column is for meaning. So on page number 44 there's a word bark, and that means the sound made by a dog. Then on page number again 44, it's echo, so repetition of sound caused by the reflection of sound waves. Then comes knell, sound of a bell being struck. Then comes the word crackling, short and sharp sounds. Then comes rustling, a soft whispered sound like the sound of footsteps on dried leaves. Then comes on a page number 45, that is knock, a light tap on a door or any other surface to seek attention. Then page number 47, beating, thumping sound of the heart. Sobbing, crying noisily by taking deep breaths. Then thudding, the loud and quick beating of the heart. Flung, the swinging sound made by an object when it is forcefully pulled or pushed. So now the another question is, she went to one of the kitchen drawers. Look at the sentence carefully. The underlined word tells us that she went some time ago to a particular place at one of the kitchen drawers. Now discuss with your partner and tell the class that you did yesterday and what your friend did yesterday. Complete the table. One is done for you. Now what it is asking over here, that there is a sentence, there is a statement in the chapter that she went to one of the kitchen drawers, right? So that tells us basically that that work have been done sometimes ago, and that's what you have to do. You have to tell your friends that what you did yesterday. Okay, and you have to complete this table, you and about friend. Okay, so here's the thing, in the you column you have to write about you and about your friend. Okay, so the first is already given, I saw a movie, and what your friend did, he or she wrote an essay. Then second, I met an old friend. What your friend did, he or she brought her own crayons for the competition. I ate a delicious meal. She bought a pair of sunglasses. I wore a new dress. And she stayed at home as it was raining outside. I sat at the last table. She went to the mall. Then I played a game online, and she asked for directions to the studio. I received the package yesterday, and she baked a batch of cookies. So that's how what you did, basically that's what you had to tell. Now another question. Imagine your friend, younger brother or sister has committed a grave mistake that has resulted in a great loss to the college property or to your family. She seeks your advice to come out of the situation problem. Write a dialogue between you and your friend, brother, sister, who describes the entire situation and seeks help from you. Take the help of the following points: introduction, confessing the mistake, seeking help, your advice, suggestion, concluding part. Now basically what the question is all about, that your friend or your younger brother or sister, any one of the person has committed some mistake, a very grave mistake. Okay, and that resulted in a very huge loss. It might have happened to the college property, or maybe in your family. So now that person has come to you and asking for the help, and asking you to take that person out from that situation and help that person. So you have to suggest him or her something, that what exactly they need to do, and here are the points that you can take help from. So there should be a proper introduction, there should be about confessing the mistake, then seeking help, then your advice or suggestion, and then concluding part. So here is the answer. So there are two people, it's one is you and the other person is Omkar. Okay, so hey Raj, are you in a hurry? I need to talk. It's important and urgent. So now you are answering to that person. Omu, I'm actually getting late for class, but tell me what happened. Then what he says, nothing happened as such. I just did something terrible. I don't understand what to do now. I'm in a pickle. And then what you say is, tell me what you did. Can figure out a way to solve the problem. That's what brothers are for. I stole money from our mother's purse. The delivery man was waiting by the door and she asked me to get some money to pay for the parcel. I opened her purse and assumed she wouldn't know if a few extra notes went missing. Then what you said, you stole money. Why would you, Omu? You are only 12. What did you need the money for? Is it for that board game you wanted? I know. What I have done isn't right. I feel ashamed. Mother has been looking for the missing cash for over 3 days now, and it turns out it was kept aside for an important payment. I'm drowning in guilt. Please tell me what to do. Then what you suggest is you need to own up to your mistake. You have to take responsibility for what you did. You should not let others suffer for your mistake. Here is what you need to do. Go to mom and tell her what you did. Also tell her the exact amount that you stole so she can account for the same. Do you have the money with you? Well, I spent a large portion of it already, but I have some left. Do you think she will be okay if I returned what I have left? No, I don't think she will be okay with this, but at least she will be relieved to know where the money went. She will be mad at you for stealing, but after some time she will forgive you, knowing that you were honest enough to come clean for what you did. Return the money that is left. Ask her if you could help her with some course that you don't already do. Don't offer it because you are trying to pay back. Offer help because you feel bad for what you did and want to do something good, okay? Yes, but I'm so scared. I guess that is the only option. Can I confess to her after you are back? I think I'll be less scared if you are around, please. Okay, I'll be back in 4 hours. You better not to try to get out of confessing. I'll see you later. Then Omkar says, yes, bye for now. So basically in this what we discussed, that one person that was your brother, that was your own younger brother, and he stole the money, which was a very wrong thing that he has done. So basically he confessed that in front of you and asked you for the help, that how he can come out of the situation. So that's what you suggested him to do. Now coming towards another question. The best punishment is forgiveness. Discuss the sentence in light of the text you have read. You can make use of the following points. Now here what you have to do, like if some person commits any crime, so for that what it's written here, that forgiveness is the best punishment. So what's written here, forgiveness provides an opportunity to change the behavior. Forgiveness leads to repentance. A person may commit a mistake, crime impulsively or under the force of strong emotions. Then what you have to write is D and E option you have to complete. So here is the answer. Forgiveness is the beginning of the healing of the wounds inflicted by someone. Forgiveness is a sign of compassion, as it helps a person move past the feelings of anger as well as hatred and understand the reasons behind the other person's action. Then now the question is, search in your college library or on the internet for at least 5 stories where a king or any great person has forgiven a losing king, culprit or offender. There are many such stories that you might have read in your history books. One such story is of Alexander and Porus. Find at least 5 stories and write their summarized version in your notebook. So basically what you have to do over here is you have to search in the college library or like on the internet for the stories in which the king or any of the great person basically have forgiven the losing king or the culprit or anyone or any of the criminal have forgiven them. And you have to find those stories, those kind of stories, and at least that should be 5 stories, and you have to write them in a summarized way. Okay, you don't have to write the whole story of that person forgiving the other person, but you have to write that in a summarized way. Okay, so that's what you have to do it on your own. So I hope you must have understood this much. Thank you so much.